The threat within: understanding session hijacking and cookie stealing. Amidst the era of digital evolution, where the internet plays a crucial role in our daily lives, ensuring the security of our online activities has become more important than ever. However, despite advancements in cybersecurity measures, threats like session hijacking and cookie stealing continue to pose significant risks to users' privacy and sensitive information. In this article, we'll delve into what session hijacking and cookie stealing are, how they work, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself against these malicious activities. What is session hijacking? Session hijacking, also known as session fixation, is a type of cyber attack where an attacker intercepts and takes over a user's session in a web application. Sessions are created when a user logs into a website, and a unique identifier, usually stored in the form of a cookie, is assigned to maintain the user's authentication status throughout their interaction with the site. Attackers exploit vulnerabilities in the session management mechanism to steal this identifier and impersonate the user, gaining unauthorized access to their accounts and sensitive data. How does cookie stealing work? Cookies are small pieces of data stored on a user's device by websites they visit. These cookies contain information such as user preferences, login credentials, and session tokens. Cookie stealing involves attackers gaining access to these cookies, either by intercepting them while in transit between the user's device and the web server or by exploiting vulnerabilities in the website's code to retrieve them from the user's browser. Once obtained, attackers can use these cookies to impersonate the user and perform actions on their behalf, such as accessing sensitive information or conducting fraudulent transactions. What can an attacker do with a hijacked session? When an attacker successfully hijacks a session, they gain unauthorized access to the victim's account or session on a website or web application. With this access, the attacker can perform various malicious activities, including identity theft. The attacker can impersonate the victim and perform actions on their behalf, such as sending messages, making purchases, or accessing sensitive information. Data theft. They can steal personal or confidential information stored within the compromised account, including financial details, contact information, or private messages. Fraudulent transactions. Attackers can conduct fraudulent transactions using the victim's account credentials, such as making unauthorized purchases or transferring funds to their own accounts. Privilege escalation. If the hijacked session belongs to a user with administrative privileges, the attacker can escalate their access level, gaining control over additional features or resources within the system. Data manipulation. They may alter or delete data within the compromised account, leading to data loss, corruption, or disruption of services. Spreading malware. In some cases, attackers may use the compromised session to distribute malware or malicious links to other users, exploiting the trust associated with the hijacked account. How do session hijacking attacks work? Session hijacking attacks exploit vulnerabilities in the communication between a user's device and a web server to intercept and take control of an active session. Here's how these attacks typically work. Session establishment. When a user logs into a website or web application, a session is created, and a unique session identifier, usually stored in the form of a cookie, is generated to authenticate and maintain the user's session state. Session token acquisition. The attacker monitors the network traffic between the user's device and the web server, looking for opportunities to intercept the session token. This can be done through various means, including packet sniffing, man-in-the-middle (MITM) attacks, or exploiting vulnerabilities in the network infrastructure. Session token theft. Once the attacker obtains the session token, they can use it to impersonate the user's session. This allows them to bypass authentication mechanisms and gain unauthorized access to the user's account or session on the targeted website. Session hijacking. With a stolen session token, the attacker effectively hijacks the user's session, taking over control of the active session without the user's knowledge. They can then perform malicious activities, such as accessing sensitive information, making unauthorized transactions, or manipulating account settings. Exploitation. Depending on the attacker's goals, they may exploit the hijacked session for various purposes, including identity theft, data theft, financial fraud, or spreading malware to other users. Persistence. In some cases, attackers may attempt to maintain control over the hijacked session for an extended period by refreshing the session token or using techniques to evade detection by security measure. Prevention measures. Use HTTPS. Ensure that websites you visit use HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, to encrypt data transmitted between your browser and the web server. HTTPS encrypts the communication, making it difficult for attackers to intercept and eavesdrop on sensitive information. including session cookies. Implement secure cookie attributes. Websites should set secure attributes for cookies, such as the secure and HTTP-only flags. The secure attribute ensures that cookies are only transmitted over secure HTTPS connections, while the HTTP-only attribute prevents cookies from being accessed via client-side scripts, mitigating the risk of cross-site scripting, XSS, attacks. Enable same-site attribute. The same-site attribute specifies whether cookies should be restricted to the same origin as the website they originate from. By setting the same-site attribute to strict or lax, websites can prevent cross-site request forgery, CSRF, attacks and reduce the risk of session hijacking. Implement multi-factor authentication, MFA. Enabling MFA adds an extra layer of security to user authentication by requiring users to provide multiple forms of verification, such as a password and a one-time code sent to their mobile device. Even if attackers manage to steal session cookies, they would still need additional credentials to gain unauthorized access to accounts. Regular security audits. Regularly audit your website's security measures, including session management mechanisms and cookie handling practices, to identify and address any potential vulnerabilities or misconfigurations that could be exploited by attackers. Defensive measures for users. Implementing client-side defenses involves adopting practical precautions that any internet user should embrace. Activate firewalls. Most operating systems offer built-in incoming firewalls, while commercial routers feature NAT firewalls. Ensure they are enabled to enhance your network security. Avoid pop-ups. Refrain from clicking on pop-up advertisements to steer clear of potential threats. Heed browser warnings. Take note of any warnings issued by your browser when accessing websites. If flagged, seek information from alternative sources. Manage, removed. Consider disabling JavaScript in your web browser, either through native settings or by utilizing browser extensions like NoScript, to bolster security against certain vulnerabilities. Exercise caution with email attachments. Only open email attachments from trusted senders whose identity you can verify. Employ antivirus software to scan all incoming mail for potential threats. Stay updated. Regularly update your software to patch security vulnerabilities, as malware often exploits outdated programs. Practice safe browsing. Always log out of websites after use to prevent unauthorized access to your accounts. Be wary of phishing emails. Exercise vigilance when receiving emails requesting sensitive information, especially from purportedly official organizations. Look out for signs of phishing attempts, such as spelling errors or an urgent tone. Scrutinize email links. Avoid clicking on URLs in emails unless you trust the sender and are certain of the link's destination. Verify the legitimacy of the link by checking for HTTPS encryption and ensuring the absence of spelling errors or suspicious discrepancies. Whenever possible, navigate to the destination manually instead of clicking on the link provided. Session hijacking and cookie stealing pose significant threats to users' online security and privacy. By understanding how these attacks work and implementing preventive measures such as using HTTPS, securing cookies with appropriate attributes, enabling same-site policies, implementing MFA, and conducting regular security audits, users can mitigate the risk of falling victim to these malicious activities. Remember, staying vigilant and proactive is key to safeguarding your sensitive information in today's digital landscape.